I said, all right, all right, all right. What's up every day? Every day. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily live stream. Had a little bit of issues with the camera this morning, but got it all working. For some reason I was super blurry. Maybe it had something to do with how I feel in my mind. But you know what? I feel actually pretty clear. Let's get my face adjusted just a little bit better. There we go. It has something to do with where my mic is. I don't know, but we're all good. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? How you looking? Man, what bombshell, ridiculous news cycle are we in this last couple weeks? I don't understand. It's just, I mean, it's bananas, the stuff that's coming out the last few days with the SEC, with Gary Gensler, with Coinbase, with Binance, with altcoins being securities, but that maybe they're not. Now Congress is mad at Gary Gensler. Binance is, basically has some records showing Gary Gensler kind of, maybe he's just a spurned lover. I don't know. I hope you all, if you like that thumbnail today, let me know. Throw a 1 in chat. If audio, visual, everything's good, throw all good in chat or something. AV good or something, just let me know. How's everybody doing this morning? We got a lot of stuff we're going to be going over today. We're going to be, for those of you that are in BitLab Academy, we did our AMA last night. Go into the BitLab Academy Discord, into the lobby, the excuse me, the lobby channel. And you'll see I shared a link, a private link. It is, I did host it through the BitLab Academy YouTube here, but I did an unlisted, basically unlisted link. So you'll only be able to access it if you are a member and you get it through that Discord. Now, I got a dog laying right behind me here. So if you see this is a green screen actually right here. I guess it doesn't move if I touch it good. I was worried that the background image was going to move every time the dog bumps it, but we got some good stuff going on today. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. We're going to be, we broke down some charts, some on-chain yesterday on the on-chain, on the AMA for the members. We're going to be breaking down a bit of TA today as well, but we have some context we got to look at, and the context will then provide us a little bit of some data points to pull from when we're looking at the TA and what could be possible. So this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. Now, let's go ahead and dive on into it. And before we really get going, let's go ahead and actually shout out those of you that are here in chat. Let me actually pop this chat out so I can put it over here. Because if I look at the chat over there, it's just too far. I ain't trying to have neck issues trying to read y'all's messages, but I want to read your messages. So what's up, everybody? We got Crimson Caravan Company was first in the house. Got Brad Guidell. My boy, Brad Guidell. Brad, we got to talk. Want to move forward with the time code things that we're talking about. I'm basically, we'll talk about it later. Sawtooth Hiker, how you doing? Sawtooth, I saw your message in Discord. I did just post that. I had to wait until the YouTube let me edit the video so I could cut off an issue we had at the beginning, but the link is in there. Crypto Kid, how you doing? Karen Swagart Harris, always in the house. Tenacious B, King Peasant, also always in the house. Who else we got in here? We got everybody in here. All the core group. Gia S, Peter John Lurum, Donato Cabrera, E-Team Crypto, Zeus Cash. We got all the regulars in the house. Total Clinic Solutions, Eric Brubaker. What's up, everybody? How you feeling? How you doing? How you looking? Now let's go ahead and jump in here. First things first. Make sure you come over to the BitLab Academy daily stream, which is right here. The BitLab Academy Twitter, which is at Academy BitLab. You can see right here. Let me make this a little larger because this is even small for my eyes. There we go. At Academy BitLab is the page. Come over here. Make sure you're following. We're sitting right around 2,671. We got 7,300 or so people in the community here on YouTube, and only 2,600 people are following us here on the Twitter space. Come over here, follow us here, and hit that retweet button. Hit that like button, and you're going to be entered to win. I think this week, we're going to be giving away some money this week. So get involved with this. So we give away great stuff every week, whether it's courses or indicators or money. So get involved. We just want to say we appreciate you participating and spreading the word. You know, because that's what this stream is all about, is community and letting people know how they can meaningfully engage with the crypto markets. So let's make sure you also come over here and check me out here at Kelly Kellam, Kelly Kellam. You noticed on the BitLab Academy page, let me just go to my page since I just retweeted this. You see this has the BitLab Academy has a gold check and then the hit next to it. Make sure you're following the correct one. And then on my page, I have the blue check and the hit. The hit portion right here is the important part. Both of these are confirming that this is my profile. Because I probably have 30 to 40 scam profiles out there, people that have impersonated me. They copy every tweet it looks just like my profile. Make sure you're following the correct one. And this afternoon, 4 p.m. this afternoon, we're doing our Crypto Answered. We've got, we're going to be talking about the SEC. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about reversals. But it's not just me. We're going to have Crypto Recruiter on, which is Dan Gambardello. If you guys don't know who Dan is, you got to give him a follow. This is this individual. I'm sure you've seen his videos. If you watch mine, I'm positive that you've seen his. He's a much bigger channel. And this guy right here. I'm sure you've seen his material. Great mind in here. But really, we got a great Twitter Spaces lined up this afternoon. We got him on there, The Rational Root. We show a lot of his charts on here. He also is a speaker at the Bitcoin conference. Jesse Olson, absolutely incredible trader. And then myself and Crypto Vet, of course. Come over here to my page. I'll put this link in chat right now. This is this one right here. Go ahead, come over here. Set that reminder. Join us this afternoon. Where is it? Set your reminder here. Join the spaces here. Come and join us this afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern time. It will be recorded as well. We also release it as a podcast. I think I have the longest running crypto spaces on Twitter. We started the same week Twitter Spaces went live, about coming up on 2 years now. We also have podcast distribution on iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Spotify. But the Twitter Spaces is where to listen, because sometimes we're able to pull people up on stage and engage directly as well. So I just wanted to shout that out before we get going here. Now, as I've said, is Gary Gensler just a spurned lover out there, exacting revenge? As I think, who said it? I think it was, let me see. I think it was Crypto Asset. That's right. By the way, is this not funny? Oh, by the way, is this not funny right here? This is pretty funny. Augmented reality for $3,500 or $20 for augmented reality. All organic augmented reality. I just thought that was funny. This right here. Let's go ahead, come in here. Where is the tweet? I don't remember where it is. Essentially what it was, I didn't really mean to leave it on that, but where is it? Yo no sé. I don't know. Was it here? I don't know. Essentially what the tweet said, I just thought it was funny. It was a perfect characterization of what's going on. And it is this comment right here. It said, CryptoBo82. Basically, he said, Gary is basically the crazy ex-girlfriend who keyed your car after you rejected her. And this isn't meant to be about women. It could be about men or anybody that gets their feelings hurt. And as this shows right here, Gary is just butthurt, out for revenge. He literally approached Binance about being an advisor for them, got rejected, and then of course now he's on this killing spree of crypto. But we're going to dive into that here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and pull up some of the things that we want to look at. First thing we're going to look at is just let's go to newsnow.com. Come over here. You can click on crypto. I use this for all my news aggregation. I'm not sponsored or anything. There's just you can get politics, topics, business, entertainment. But of course on crypto, you can also segment between many of the top, the larger coins, not every coin on the market, but get news specifically on those. And you see how it pulls from all kind of different things, from Yahoo to Bloomberg to New York Times, everything. Basically the block, crypto, Cointelegraph, Decrypt, everything. And you can kind of just get a rundown of sort of what the market is feeling right now, just because you can tell by the headlines what narrative is trying to be shaped. So we can click on most read right here, and we can see, okay, we got SEC lawsuit against Binance, redemptions, crypto whales, they're flocking to stablecoins. So is this something we need to look at on chain? I hadn't even seen this before. Maybe we'll look at that today. We can also see U.S. federal court dismisses lawsuit against DeFi platform pull together. Never even heard of pull together. Rich Dad Poor Dad always every week doing another sort of not inflammatory but clickbaity. Everything's gonna crash by Bitcoin. And I agree, but you know he kind of flip flops a little bit here. Cardano shoots down SEC claim that AD as a security. We got a little bit of stuff we're gonna look at here, and generally. One of the things I like about this, you can go to the latest news. If you're trying to see exactly what just happened and you don't want to just scroll Twitter, by the way, Twitter feels like the fastest news source I've ever utilized. But if you want to look at more sort of, you know, not institutions, but organizations that are, you know, have journalists that are trying to put out information, you can kind of look here. Am I getting some dings in my ear? But we can just scroll here on the latest news and just see kind of what's going on. If something major just happened, the market just nuked, whatever. But point being is here, we've got some stories that I pulled. I already scrolled through this. So we're going to break this down and then we're going to be looking at the market. So before we dive into the news, let's go ahead and look at the charts. We're going to be going back and forth between the charts and the news and just see a general sort of framework of what's going on currently. So coming here, we're looking at Bitcoin dominance. You know, we've had a couple different patterns that we had outlined here. Let's go ahead and let's double click on this. We can see here, we had a bit of a diamond we thought was forming, which was right here. Boom, boom. Right, let me actually just do it like this. Like this. This was kind of forming a bit of a diamond, but then kind of continued trading. We're in a bit of a range. We're holding right up here near this 48%. The key thing that we want to pay attention to here, especially for somebody that's not only holding Bitcoin, if you're holding any other coin, throw BTC in chat if Bitcoin is the only asset that you hold that's in the crypto digital asset ecosystem, or put BTC King or something. I doubt we have very many. We may have one or two. The majority of people in here, I would bet, have a pretty mixed bag. If you hold only alts and you hold no Bitcoin, throw that throw only alts in the comments here. Let me know if you're only holding alts. The point here is we want to look at this chart. We've talked about it a lot on this channel. We want to look at this chart because it gives us an indication of where the liquidity is likely going to be flowing. Creighton C, Bitcoin King. You only hold Bitcoin. Do you're more safely positioned than all of us, everybody else here. But so Mohammed Al-Maskari, you only hold ADA or you want to see ADA? We got to communicate better, everybody. We got to say what we mean and mean what we say. Mellow Crypto, only alts. So the point here is, even if you're holding predominantly Bitcoin, sometimes there's moments in a market, in an asset class. Remember, the digital asset class, we got Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then further down the, you know, exponentially, as you move down the list, the more risky you get. But there are moves to be made, even if your primary focus is earning Bitcoin. That's my primary focus, but part of my strategy in that primary focus is to see where the liquidity is flowing within the market. So if Bitcoin is setting up, for instance, if Bitcoin dominance, we're looking here, this is a Bitcoin dominance chart. If this pushes up, gets rejected, pushes up, tests this and starts moving up, I'm going to be moving a lot. I'm going to be moving not 100%, but I'm going to be reallocating some of my portfolio into Bitcoin, because if this breaks this 48% level, why do I say this? We've talked about this a lot. Let's look at this zoomed out. This is, there we go. So this is what I want to see. There we go. So if we look, let's look at this on the daily, actually. Look at this at the daily. You see this, this goes all the way back. My mouse is here. Well, you can't see. So my mouse is here. Let's scroll your eyes all the way down here to the bottom and you can see what date this is. This is all the way back May 2021. And now we're coming in past May 2023. So 2 years, this has been in a range like this. So when we're looking at this in this range, and we know that every time Bitcoin has rejected, the price has rejected, or actually I should say the Bitcoin dominance has rejected at this level, this has resulted, this area is right here. Where's my big arrow? These areas right here, where it rejects at 48 and moves down, rejects at 48 and moves down. These have been very strong altcoin seasons, meaning altcoin market was just exploding. Now, why is this? Remember, if Bitcoin is dominating, that means more liquidity is flowing into Bitcoin. It's performing better than altcoins. If dominance is falling on Bitcoin, meaning BTC.D, how you pull this up, you go right here, you type BTC.D, you get the Bitcoin dominance chart. And when this is falling, this means liquidity is flowing into altcoins faster than it's flowing into Bitcoin. It doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin price is falling. When dominance is falling, it means it's suggesting, it's illuminating that there's more liquidity flowing into altcoins as a whole. There's some that are suffering, sure. But as a whole, if you look at the aggregate index of all the altcoin market, which is total 2, you come up here, you type in total 2. We'll pull this chart up in a second. That means that the rest of the market has more liquidity coming into it than Bitcoin. So what we're seeing right here is, look at this stutter step. This has been boom, rejection, boom, rejection, boom, rejection. Now, boom, little bit of a rejection, but found support, pushed back up, found support. And if we really zoom in on this, is this a little bit of a falling channel? I'm just noticing this. Let's see what we got here. Option T. Yeah, well, why did I do this instead of doing some like broadening wedge? Well, if we take this high and then this low, we got a bit of a falling channel here. So this is somewhat bullish for the Bitcoin dominance. The consideration here is if this does break to the upside, and look at this, we're kind of testing near the upper side of this range. If this does break out of this range, this breaks out of this range and tests in this region and it starts to break through this, we need to really evaluate what our strategy is as to where we're applying liquidity in our own portfolios, where we're reallocating and such. So you guys understand that? I think you do. Throw a 1 in chat if you understand that. We got a lot of OGs. How many OGs are in the house right now? How many have been watching from the first week? I would guess that there's probably 30 or 40 of you in here. If you've been watching, put OG. If you've been watching for, if you've been watching for longer than a month, just put G. And if this is your first week, last week or two, put new G. I want to see what our makeup is here in the audience right now. We got 154 people in the house, and only 59 of you are kind enough to support the entire crypto ecosystem by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, dinging that bell. Join us here in the community. Now, Bitcoin dominance. This is what we're watching. So let's go ahead and look at the next sort of iteration of this, the next step, which is the total 2. You come up here on the top left, type in total 2, and you get it. See, total 2, pulls it up, select it, bring it up on your chart. Save it over here in your My List over here. Now we saw this giant falling wedge. We also saw option T. We also had this sort of zone right here. This already broke this here. Kind of gave us a little bit of a sneak peek that we were going to be moving to the top side of this range. Okay. Now, as it stands, I don't know why. Let me see something. Somebody was messing with my chart. Yeah. So we got a couple different options here because this, if we look at this, where this rejected, this does create a new trend line. I think that's why I put that there. Let's go ahead and make this a little less visible. We'll make it a dotted line. No, not dash, dot. But we did break 1, 2, 3, and we come down. We kind of broke through this, and we've been trading sideways, consolidating. I mean, this whole period from here over, if you look at this, is just a giant consolidation. Push up, breakdown, push up, breakdown. Push up, breakdown, push up, breakdown. We're basically in this range. Where is my parallel channel? We kind of come across like this. We're kind of in this little bit of a range right here, which is basically 430 to 680, basically a $200 billion range. Big range, right? But if we take the numbers out of it and just look at the range, and we can actually look at this on a percentage level. From the middle of the range up, it's about 22% up. From the downside, it's about 15 to 18% to the downside. We've just been trading in this range. This is what consolidation is. This is what accumulation is, I should say. This is what accumulation is after a downtrend. So we had a little mini bull market, little mini bear market, little mini bull market. Yes, you can have bull markets and bear markets on different time frames. We have to remember there's multiple different time frames at play at any given moment. There's a macro bear trend, right? This is a macro bear trend. But This is actually the wrong way that we call this a macro bear trend because we're impatient in the digital market. If we zoom out, look at this on the weekly. Let's go to log. This is, look at this. Is this a bear trend? If this is the macro, this is a macro bull trend with consolidation, bull trend with a little bit of a pullback, consolidation. But this is all a bull trend with push-ups, you know, essentially, think about it. So if this is what we know is a bull trend, if we're looking at it on a 4-hour or daily chart, then why is this not a bull trend on a, this is the true macro, looking at the weekly, the monthly in the digital asset sector. So that being said, I just want to clarify, sometimes people get in arguments over what a bull and a bear trend is, and they're not even talking about the same time frames. So looking here, we have this sort of, you know, this downtrend that we have, this region bear trend into consolidation. And we look like we're struggling to really break out. Even when we broke out of this zone, broke out, came back, retested this zone here, broke out, and we just been hugging this. If the Bitcoin dominance starts moving up, total two will likely, this will perform well as also, but we want to look at, let's see, what is it, the ETH. We look at Ethereum dominance, for instance. We can see how this is performing as compared to the whole market. The entire, think about how big the crypto market cap is. Crypto market cap is somewhere around $1.1 trillion. Yeah, $1.106 trillion. And if we come back over to this chart, we could see $1.1 trillion, 20% of the entire crypto asset, digital asset ecosystem, 20% of that market cap is Ethereum. So when we come back over here, we look at this BTC, BTC.D, there we go. We see that Bitcoin is 47% of that $1.1 trillion. This is why people pay so much attention to Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as much as you may like HBAR, which I love, or Algorand, or AVAX, or name your coin, Atom, it doesn't matter what coin you're talking about, Render, Arweave. If you're not paying attention to Bitcoin and Ethereum, then you're probably not really going to make it in this market in the long run. Even if you're not trading Bitcoin and Ethereum, you need to be aware of what's going on, because these are really the blood pressure and the heartbeat of the space. This gives you the best signal about what's happening in the crypto market ecosystem. So let's go back to total two. And what I want to notice here too is this is something else we need to watch. We need to watch the, let's go ahead and go to, I'm going to work with a bunch of traditional indicators here, just to get people, whether you have the BitLab indicators or not, I want to reinforce some fundamentals with all of you. Now, looking here at the dollar index, the DXY, that's how you pull this up. Just click on your chart, type DXY. Just so you all know, you don't have to go up here and click. You can just click on your chart and just start typing. Stuff comes up. See that? Quick little trip. Now we have all these indicators up. Let's go ahead and actually pull this up. Again, why? Oh, because I was looking for the money flow, checking money flow on the Dixie. It's not going to come up. So we can double click on the chart. It will minimize all those other indicators. Now, when we want them back, double click on the chart, they come back. Now, the point here, what I'm trying to look at, this is a line I drew back here, this green jaggedy line. What we're looking at here is we looked at Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we also need to look at the dollar index, see what's going on with the strength of the dollar. Because if the dollar starts performing very well, the digital asset ecosystem probably is not going to do very well. So what we're seeing here, I drew this, let's see where I started. The line right here. So back on May 30th, about 8 days ago. And what's happening is right now pretty in line with what I was suggesting. I want to happen and could happen, but it doesn't mean it has to happen. But this was the path I think it could likely take. Come down, retrace a bit, come back down, retrace on the way down, right? We want this for strength in the crypto asset ecosystem. We want this. So if this is going to happen, what probabilities do we have? Well, first off, we have this, we have these consecutive lower highs. We have a flat bottom here, but what this is forming is a descending triangle. Now, why do we like this pattern? Because if we come back here, let's double click on the chart, minimize our other stuff. Let's go to the 3-day and let's look, we got to look at a different chart right here. What we can see right here, you see this right here, descending level of resistance. Also right here, this is actually very in line with what the dollar index looks like right now, where we have the higher high, right? Let's look at this. Higher high, and then this sort of below this, and we get this descending level of resistance. See this? Just higher high here, and then descending level right here. You see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm mincing my words here. But then we have the flat bottom of support, bottom falls out. These tend to break to the downside. The inverse of this, which is an ascending triangle where you have the ascending level of support and a flat level of resistance, tend to break to the upside. You see how these two things played out? Now, on the dollar index, the reason why I care, I'm not trading the dollar, but in reality, any asset you're trading in relationship to the dollar. The health of pretty much the global ecosystem, global finance ecosystem, because the dollar has so much weight in the global financial sector for all assets. Paying attention to the strength of the dollar will give you signal as to where the risk mentality will likely be in the market. So that being said, what does this look like? What do we know? Descending level of resistance, flat level of support. So we're getting that formation. So let's go ahead and I don't want to delete that. We can we'll make it hard to see so it stays there so we can reference it later. But we can come back over here. What is likely to happen is we have currently, if we zoom in on this, look at this, lower highs. We got flat lows here, but we also, on the very short-term trend, we've got a sort of market reverse. Let me, making it brighter. There we go. Sometimes I feel like I'm in Microsoft Paint on here. Man, I'm loving seeing all y'all in chat. If you're feeling good today, if you like what you're seeing, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit those emojis. I love seeing those emojis fly in the chat. Always tickles my fancy. But what I want to show you here is we've got this sort of reversal here, right? Move to the upside, pull back. Move to the upside, pull back. Move to the upside, double top. This is the classic setup for a full market cycle. Remember, you can have a market cycle on the macro, the midterm, or the micro. In this case, we're looking on the daily, and we're seeing sort of reset here, break out from this high, and then we have this push up, pull back, push up, pull back, push up. We tend to get these three pushes. It's the most common, on any time frame. Look at it on those candles. What sort of push setup, push pull setup are you getting? Somebody, oh, that must be Morel. I was going to say, who's messaging from the BitLab Academy page? I seriously had and Kelly boy, what's up to you? Because you got my same name. What's up? Point being is here, we've got these breaking on this high, push up, but we're seeing the top here, potential top reversal, because we have this double top formation, meaning it's top, and this top is lower, and we have a lower low here. This is suggesting to me, if it were any asset charted, that this is going to push down, pull up, push down, pull up, and test all the way down until we get down to the bottom of this range. That's what we're looking at. If we see this, this will be at minimum a short-term encouragement. I won't say rally, but short-term support and short-term encouragement of a rally. I walked him and fed him, just so you know. Yep. That's walking and feeding the doggies. So what we can see is the Dixie may be setting up for some support in the market to get a little bit of a rally. But will it happen? Well, we're going to look to some of the stuff in the charts here in just a moment. But let's go ahead. Let's actually go ahead and do that now so we can get to all the TA that you want. And you all, if you want, if you're interested, if you have a particular choice, throw a couple of the particular alts that you want to see. Some of the charts you want to see when we're doing the Turbo TA. We're going to be breaking down a bunch of charts here. We got 197 people in the room, 206 people in the room right now, only 108 likes. That means only 50% of you participate in something that is being done for you for free. Come on, let's all be better, because you're not just helping this channel, you're helping YouTube recognize that crypto content is important. When they see engagement in crypto content, they're more inclined to support crypto content, not just my channel, all channels. And this is for everybody. So let's get involved there. Now we're going to break down some of these stories here. Let's go over. So first thing here, top altcoins crashed by over 20% as U.S. court summons Binance CEO. If you're not aware of this already, then you're not being ambitiously curious. Like I told you, I wanted you all to be. I really want to encourage you all to be curious about the assets and the asset space for which you are trading in and investing in. Be aware of the news. Even if you open it, even if you don't have a Twitter account, open a Twitter account just to follow, 5 or 6 key accounts that you can just kind of get some, you can check in once every couple of days and see the general set up what's going on in the news. Watch these shows here, these different crypto channels. Be aware of what's going on for the assets that you're investing in. But the point being is here, I sort of outline, this was the first point, is the U.S. District Court issued a summons for Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao just 2 days after the SEC sued the exchange. So they have they've made issued a summons for him. That's one thing I wanted to highlight. And here we go. District Court judges that will preside over Coinbase and Binance SEC lawsuit. I just wanted to point this out. SEC versus Coinbase case will be heard by Judge Jennifer H. Reardon in the Southern District of New York, while Judge Amy Berman Jackson will tackle the SEC versus Binance case in the District of Columbia. Now, this is important because two things. New York is still thought of as among, if not the financial capital of the world, with Wall Street here and so many big banks. I do not know why my camera is getting so foggy, but it's all good, meaning out of focus. The reason why this is important is there's still, I currently live in New York. I'm in process of be moving to Atlanta here actually this weekend. But it's incredibly difficult to do anything crypto related as an individual in New York, let alone be a business with this complete scam of a bit license that was created years ago and et cetera. And I mean, there's a lot of reluctance for anybody that's, think about how many different large businesses and, capital that's available in New York that's kind of stifled right now. And if New York is somewhat a barometer of where the country may be going financially, then the reason why this is important is this right here. The SEC versus Coinbase case will be heard by a judge here in New York, meaning that some of the things that are going to be determined in this case are not just going to impact what the SEC's decision and rule book's going to be moving forward for other digital assets, but this could also potentially open the door for what some of the things are going to, some of the rule book changes that could occur to benefit crypto if this comes to in any way positive resolution for this Coinbase SEC case. This is incredibly important. Now, of course, we also have the SEC and Binance in DC, District of Columbia. I cannot speak today. District of Columbia. So there's a lot of big things riding on these two cases. Of course, there's a very interesting thing that I'm going to be breaking down here in just a moment about what's happening with Binance, about what's happening with Gary Gensler, about what's happening with the XRP case. How could this not all be tied together? How could this not, ask yourself, how could this not be cloak and dagger trying to shape a narrative around them? Probably, I don't want to say losing the XRP case, but it just feels like Gary Gensler is throwing things at the wall because he's not getting his way. So he's trying to make things stick. So Michael Montague, I should say. I'm just looking at reloading my bags. That's all I'm looking at too. I told you all yesterday, I took some capital out of the market yesterday just to pay off some credit card debt. I was only holding because I was making myself cash poor, putting all my liquid capital into the market. And I decided, you know what? I can set myself up for success depending on which way it goes here. So I did take a little bit of capital in the market, but I got my long-term holds and I'm good. I'm all set, baby. But I am looking for those lower markets now that I got those credit things paid off. I can still put all my liquid capital into the market. So let's go ahead and look at some of these things that we're talking about. First, before we get into those dates, we want to look at this. Cardano's bold challenge to the SEC. ADA asserted as non-security, exposing inaccuracy of SEC and Gary Gensler. This is the most accurate statement I've seen or heard regarding Gary Gensler in the last 2 years. Why? Because exposing inaccuracy of SEC and Gary. This is 100% truth. What SEC and Gary Gensler, I mean, let's just call it like we see it. What Gary Gensler is doing is he's the front man for a vendetta, paid for and puppet mastered by the central banks and people in power that have their claws in things that they're worried that they don't know how to pivot. Everybody in the world, every institution, let me say this. SEC, Gary Gensler is so backwards and uneducated and just has no idea what he's doing in all these SEC cases. It is clear that he is I don't want to say victim. It is clear that Gary Gensler is being the puppet, and the puppet master being the central banks and other large bank-facing institutions that are trying to maintain their power and keep their grips on power and control. The truth about Bitcoin, the truth about not all, but most of the digital asset ecosystem is that it provides the ultimate and most real opportunity for freedom and the sharing of wealth of anything in the history of humanity. The truth about this is nobody really needs to lose power or lose. What needs to happen is individuals need to gain power. So these corrupt officials, these corrupt banking institutions, these corrupt lobbying agencies, Gary Gensler, the most corrupt of them all, that is the puppet of all these corrupt institutions, is trying to not control power. They're not necessarily trying to keep power. They're actually focused on keeping you from getting any sense of power. And I don't mean like going and running things and control things. No, we all want the power to say, I can work when I want. I know what my money's doing. My money is transparent. I can control my money. I can custody it. What the SEC and the government is doing is reprehensible because they're preventing the number one thing, especially in the US, that the Constitution talks about, and that is sovereignty, right? Freedom, the right to freedom of speech. Well, if we say it's the freedom of speech is in the Constitution, then we know that money is a form of communication. Money is a transmittal of information. By stifling our ability to use money as we see fit, they're actually stifling our freedom of speech in some regard. They're stifling our freedom of movement. They're stifling our freedom of trade. It's just ridiculous. So a little bit of a rant there. Point being here is, I can't even say it on stream because I like this to be family friendly. So let's go ahead and move on with this. Let's continue on down here. My nose is itching today. There's so much. You guys don't understand how bad the air was here in New York yesterday. I'm sure you saw photos, but I looked out my window, and if you can see, let me take this right here. It's fine now, but you can see over there, those white blinds. It looked like, with them closed, it looked like an apocalypse outside. It was absolutely orange. Sorry, I just got to fix my camera back there. I mean, it was so bizarre. So I've got a little bit of a scratchy throat, wishy-washy nose, all that kind of stuff. So scrolling back down here, despite the continuous allegations, IOG, which is the Input Output Global, which is the company behind the initial creation of Cardano, and it was a collective of many people. But despite the continuous allegations regarding IOG firm asserts, the IOG firm firmly asserts, I'm going to rewind myself. Okay. IOG firmly asserts that the filings rife with okay, there it is. This is just such a weird sentence. Let's start that over. Despite the continuous allegations, IOG firmly asserts that the filings rife with factual errors do not pose a threat to its operations. This is how sure they are that Cardano is not a security. Huge. The official IOG has responded to this. Yeah, so we see this right here. The filings contain numerous factual inaccuracies and will not impact IOG's operations in any way. Under no circumstances is ADA a security under U.S. securities laws. It never has been. It's just important to know there very may well be some more turmoil, some more volatility, even a further drop. We could even get down to the 15 cent, 20 cent range on Cardano. But it's still something that I'm not turning my back on. I see this, even if it was a long endeavored court case, I do see this resolving it positively, barring anything that is not done illegally by the way the courts jockey to position something. But I do think this is going to come out on top. IOG clarifies unequivocally that ADA, the native token of Cardano Network, does not qualify as a security under U.S. securities laws. In response to the SEC's enforcement-based approach, IOG, Input Output Global, highlights the lack of clarity and certainty it brings. Such a stance fails to serve the interests of both the blockchain and the blockchain industry and consumers who are entitled to more transparency, to more transparent regulatory action. This point underscores the core value of blockchain itself, transparency. This is the funniest part about all these allegations. The biggest thing that scares central banks and government is that if we transitioned, I'm going to say this big so we can clip this. The biggest thing that threatens central banks and governments globally that are opposed to blockchain technology and opposed to digital assets is the fact of how transparent the blockchain is. Now, of course, there are privacy tokens. That's going to be a whole nother conversation. But when we're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Avalanche, Algorand, the list goes on and on and on. The amount of transparency and the ability to look on-chain data, each block that's mined, you see exactly what activity is going on. You have a recorded history of every transaction that's ever happened on the history of the blockchain on every computer essentially that's participating on that network, on nodes or on mining. What the central banks and US government are fearing with these SEC allegations is the fact that if we move towards this, they're going to have to be more transparent. Think about that. Now, jumping back in here, we can see blockchain technology is innately transparent, audible, immutable, and fair. As such, it requires regulatory oversight that upholds these characteristics while comprehending the transformative role blockchain can play in a modern world. The goal should be to institute regulation that not only safeguards users, but also provides a viable legal framework for operation. Do you all see? Why are these compliance officers and lawyers and these people that are part of these other organizations, why do they have such a clear, and I mean, all this makes sense. The SEC cannot not know this. They're clearly acting in bad faith. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I want to get to the stories here. Coinbase Binance hit back after SEC lawsuits. SEC Chair Gary Gensler was criticized by Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, while Binance's lawyers alleged that Gensler had offered to be an advisor to the crypto exchange in 2019. Do you guys realize this? Do you realize how ridiculous this is? Gary Gensler, I'm sure you've all seen the news, but let's just pause there for a moment. Gary Gensler is throwing all this shade on the crypto industry. He used to teach about blockchain at MIT. He knows what's up. He's not as dumb as he seems. What's the truth about this is he's not as dumb as he seems. He's just way more of a scam artist than we could have ever imagined when he initially went into office. That's really the truth here. He's upset that he couldn't participate in the crypto ecosystem in some sort of, high tier position. So now he's going after it with everything he's got. I mean, think about all the clips that you've seen. All the clips you've seen of him talking about how Algorand is not a security, it's a commodity. And most of the altcoin market is. He said that verbatim, somewhat paraphrased, at one of his teachings at over there at MIT, or it might have been at a conference or something. It's just ridiculous. This is an important one right here. U.S. Congress takes action. Lawsuit against SEC and Gary Gensler. You see this? This is what I'm talking about. We have to remember there might be some bad eggs in the bunch, but there are people in our government that are trying to hopefully some avail, to make some meaningful and meaningful regulation so that we don't lose in one of the biggest revolutions of our time frame. I mean, the revolution right now, think about what the railroad did to the world. The railroad allowed cities to trade and expand. I remember when I went to Columbia University, I may not, I may not seem like I could have made it in there, but maybe I'm smarter than I look. I got in there somehow. And I remember there was a book or I don't remember, a lesson. And it was talking about the development. And I want you all to think about this. The development of the railroad. So we had the rail, then we had the steam car, and what that did for the world, for culture. It changed culture immediately because now you don't have these segmented, micro cultures that are all distinctly different. Progressively, what we've seen is, the step from just, everything was villages, with some townships and some kingdom sort of, metropolises. But then the majority of the world was really spread out farmland, right? Villages, townships, hamlets, all these small groupings of people. And then what happened when we had the railroad, the advent of the railroad starting to, basically usher in the Industrial Revolution. This is what we need to think about when we're thinking about the blockchain. The blockchain is a railroad to the future. Why do I say that? The railroad, somebody wrote when the first time they were able to ride on a train, this, I forget who it was, had this beautiful piece that he wrote about how it was akin to time travel. Because before the railroad, it may have taken him, a month or 3 months to travel from one town that he lived in to another area that he had to travel to, but he hated doing it because it took so much time. And so in this weird way, think about this, if you didn't know what the railroad was before, and how could you have before it was invented, you would never have this concept of, basically the shrinking of time. The shrinking of time and the shrinking of distance. That's what the railroad did, right? You got on a train, and what used to take you a month to get from this town to this town, now took a shorter amount of time. So in effect, it's shrinking the distance between places while also shrinking the time. So in a way, you're inadvertently time traveling. You're skipping the amount of time while also not as much effort to get there. So when we're thinking about the Industrial Revolution, then we have, cities, less people start working on farms. Less people end up working on farms. People start congregating into cities. There's more industrial jobs that are being had. And so people have to work in these factories. They have to group together. So these cities, these towns build. Think about Detroit. Detroit was a town built on the automotive industry. So people were flocking to that for jobs. Now, because they're flocking to that for jobs, this was only possible because now you can only sustain those jobs, and you can sustain the people that live there to do those jobs because you have the railroad to transport the goods from the farms to get to them. So you see, all this ties together. When we think about blockchain, what this has done, there's been a lot of steps between the railroad and blockchain, but you had, the Industrial Revolution, you had cities, we had massive increases in advancements in technology, from foodstuffs to actual mechanical doodads and things that just made things more efficient. And we've been automated. People are so worried about AI now, how that's going to change the work landscape, the economic landscape. But nothing's different about AI than all the different advancements we've been making over the last 2,000 years. Is it happening faster? Yes. But so too do the tools allow us to adapt. Now we have the internet ushered in also a shrinking of time, a shrinking of space, right? Now I don't need to get on a train to go or a plane or anything to go and travel to meet somebody, talk to them face to face. I can pull up right now. I'm talking to each and every one of you. I can't see your face, but I'm communicating directly to you over the internet. Now we take this further to the blockchain. Blockchain is now taking it back to transparency because we have all this anonymity and this. Now we have transparency and immediacy of money. Think about that technological revolution. In addition to the immediacy and the transparency of money, then we also have the layer 1 protocols that offer an entirely different distributed network of computers to share power and work together. We have smart contract platforms. We have rendering platforms for graphics. We have decentralized storage. There's endless possibilities of what this ecosystem is going to build into. And so it's important that the damn US Congress takes action, as we're seeing right here. Lawsuit against the SEC and Gary Gensler over inexplicable public listing approval followed by regulation blockage. You see this? This is exactly what Coinbase is going to be fighting with the SEC, because if we scroll down here, I kind of highlighted some stuff. The SEC government, the SEC, the SEC is weaponizing their role. This is the important part. The SEC is weaponizing their role. Who's providing them the funding for that weaponry? Central banks, U.S. government officials that are trying to maintain power to stifle your power so they can maintain the order that they're trying to tell you we need this order. No, they want to keep power. That's what it's about. Allowing the company to list publicly and then stonewalling their attempts to register is indefensible. This is exactly what Coinbase has talked about. Industry insiders have also weighed in on the situation, alleging that the lawsuit contradicts the SEC's prior approval of Coinbase listing. This is just ridiculous. Coinbase has remained adamant since receiving a Wells notice from the SEC in March. Remember this about 3 months ago. Its April filing mentions extensive efforts to engage with the SEC during the public listing process and beyond, thereby stating that the move toward litigation did not arise from the discoveries about Coinbase's operations. AKA, the SEC had perfect idea of everything that was going on this entire time. They allowed it to happen. They encouraged IPO. Everything was approved. Due diligence done. And now they're trying to say, no, you can't do that. No. I'm just so frustrated with all this. Yeah, so this is just a follow-up. Binance wants SEC Chair Gary Gensler recused for advising the crypto exchange. So essentially, I think I might have highlighted something. This ties in. So this is right here. The SEC and Binance's next court appearance. You see this? Okay, I got to come out of here. I got in a little bit of... I made a stupid decision back in September. I was on a empty stomach. I was fasting, and I ended up. It didn't hurt anybody, but I ended up getting, a traffic violation, and I wasn't able to go to court for, let's see, September, October, November, December, December. It was like 8 months. 8 months. You know how backed up the courts are with this kind of stuff? And now the SEC just sued Binance and they have a court appearance scheduled for June 13th. What's on June 13th? Well, somebody else mentioned it in here. I think I have it right here. Look at this. They know what's coming. The release date for the Hinman documents is in less than a week. What date? June 13th. What's the Hinman documents? The Hinman documents are the documents that are essentially where they were discussing what was a security, what was a commodity, outlining certain things that weren't securities, giving us pretty, I don't want to say a clear legal precedent. It's not, because it's only communications, but this used to be the former director of the SEC. He was, let's see, a director, division, and corporate finance of SEC. And you know, it's interesting. Look at this right here. The SEC government is now, basically, they've removed him from his biography from the website. What are they going to do? They're probably going to start tarnishing his reputation before this court date happens, and before these, basically throw his reputation into question before everybody sees what these documents are. Pitiful. It's absolutely disgusting what our government's doing. Okay, this is a stretch break time right here. After all that, we're going to need to look at some charts. You guys want to look at some charts? Throw in some coins. I'm doing all, I got to stretch my back. I'm doing all requests. We'll do Bitcoin, we'll do Ethereum, we'll do Cardano. You all let me know what other coins you want to look at. This is going to be all about you guys now. I had to let off some of those rants there. This is just, we don't usually dive into much news on this channel. For anybody that's new here, sometimes we do news, but we'll just kind of gloss over it for the pull out what the headlines are, talk about some context, but we talk about a lot. This channel is all about breaking down, bridging that gap from beginner to pro, breaking down technical analysis, on-chain data, tying it all together, strategies, but throwing the rope back for beginners. So if you are newer here, we are all about giving alpha high-level content, but throwing back very beginner friendly stuff so people can learn along the way. I really think it's important that we do this for the community, breaking down simple things like what is support, what is resistance, but also like, all right, check out this on-chain data chart. We're gonna, we need to approach things from all angles. So, man, I'm fired up today. Okay, we got BNB. Yeah, we definitely got to look at BNB. BTC, oh, we're going to look at Matic as well, for sure. I can't say for sure because sometimes I just end up going very long-winded on one coin, so my bad. Let's go ahead and let's just get her done. Let's go ahead and jump in here. If you have not yet, we got 244 people in the room. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, join us here. If you're watching over on Hit Network, because this does stream at the same time there as well, make sure you come over here, follow us, youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. And if you haven't yet, I haven't called it out yet today, so I'm trying to do, just got to let people know what's going on, you know, with our business here. This is how we pay for all this. Make sure you come and check out BitLab Academy, which is at bitlabacademy.com. You can sign up for free right here. You can also just click enroll now right here. And all access is $37.99, and it's for all of our courses. And the course list is growing and growing and growing. We're going to be adding a lot of stuff here. We just started our AMAs in Discord. Members get access to those AMAs. A couple of you in the chat now were here last night. Let everybody know what you thought about those. But these are all broken down, 4 to 12-minute videos, depending on what the topic is. Broken down. I mean, on-chain data alone has 20 different lessons in it. Breakdown candle, everything. You get the point. Come check us out, bitlabacademy.com. I still haven't discontinued that coupon code, GIVEME30, you can use. So now let's go ahead and break down the charts. We got 244 people in the room, 159 likes. I'd love to see a 100% ratio that people give back to the things that are given to them. You know, if you're watching something, give some engagement to that channel, because that's how the channels, that's how YouTube continues to share those channels with others. So what are we looking at here? Bitcoin. We know what the charts are for Bitcoin. We've been looking at this for some time. Let's go ahead and look at this chart actually. Okay, we've got, look at this. We fell into this, we had this rising wedge. We kind of fell out of this support. We pulled right back up into this. Now, I'm going to be really watching in this sector right here, basically from here all the way to, what was that date we talked about? The 13th. What did we have on this for the last month, I believe, this vertical line? Middle of June. There's some fireworks coming, because it's not only the Hinman documents that are coming out. It's not only the potential XRP resolution or clarity in some regard. If it's going to be a security, make it a security. If it's going to be deemed a commodity, I mean, stop dragging this shit out. Stop it, government. I mean, this is just. They can come down with enforcement quick, but they can't come with some regulation. Regulation by misinformation. Is that what they're doing? It's just so frustrating. I apologize about the language, but I'm fired up. We have this date right here. This is also the FOMC meeting. The interest rate, next decision. The meeting, FOMC, 13th and 14th of June. We've got some volatility coming into the markets here in the next week. You better believe it. I've been spending so much time in Atlanta. I'm originally from Texas. I've been spending so much time in Atlanta. Some of my country accent's starting to come back a little bit. So we're seeing here, we got a rising wedge, this right here that we're within right now, that they typically break bearish. But we're also, this is how confusing the market is. We also have this falling channel right here, which is a bullish pattern. So we see we're coming into the convergence of these two patterns also at this date that is like, yo, is this D-Day for the market? Like, what's going on? Like, we need to make sure you have your capital protections in place. Make sure you're not throwing in your rent money because you think you're going to double it, because these markets can go either way. And if you don't have a skilled setup, if you don't have a strategy that you've practiced and you understand your risk allocation, your risk tolerance, your time horizon, how to hedge your bets, you know, reading price action, understanding chart patterns, you know, on-chain data. If you have the ability to really utilize data to help you trade, which I think everybody should. If you're not, you know, you need to be very precise right now. because things are on the edge. So let's go ahead and look at, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be fairly safe. So we may get a little bit of pullback, but in the end, Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to do fine. Let's go ahead. This is 1 hour. Let's go to the daily chart. Man, I'm loving how fast I'm seeing the chats are flowing today. Let's keep those chats flowing. Throw in some emojis, hit those hearts, hit those party signs. We got a good little crew today. Now, we're looking here. We drew this yesterday. This is Ethereum. We have the blue option or the red option. You take the blue pill or the red pill. Either is going to be fine in the end. I truly believe Bitcoin and Ethereum, you know, over the next 15 years are going to change so many lives. It's not even funny. So being scared about this dropping here, your vision is wrong. This dropping, you're scared, it means you're out of position or you didn't have capital protection. So use those feelings as an indication, as a data point for yourself. If this falls, I see opportunity. Is it going to suck for a little bit in terms of, man, it's so much more fun in the space. The sentiment is so much better when there's markets. If Bitcoin's at 110,000 and Ethereum's at 11,000 or something like that, or 12,000 or whatever, you better believe in those moments the market's going to be joyous as a you get what I'm saying. So in order for those to be as joyous as possible for you, then this dropping here actually sets you up for a better opportunity when the price is at those levels. So don't be so upset if you are out of position. Maybe this is not financial advice. Maybe you just allocate that amount to, okay, this is my long-term hold, fine. And then as this drops, our job here, especially in a bear market, especially in accumulation zone like we are now, leading into, we're still pre-halving, we want to make sure that we have capital flow in our life. There's one of the guys I know, he might be in stream right now. He was commenting earlier. He was on the BitLab account. He has a great job. He has income streams, but you know what he also does? He wakes up at 3:30 in the morning to run Uber drives. He goes and he drives Uber for extra capital to make sure that he could participate in this market in the most meaningful way when the best opportunity in the market is now before the parabolic run happens. Is this frustrating for people that don't have a map? Yes. For those that just resolve themselves to knowing that they may not know, but they're going to learn, and you're here every day, and you're watching other streams every day, Traders Reality, Frankie Candles, Investing Bros, Crypto Capital Venture, the Traveling Trader, Gareth Soloway, Crypto Faye. There's so many different people you can watch. Mitch Ray. You can watch traditional asset traders as well as crypto asset traders. Learn the skills. Get in BitLab Academy. We break this all down from the beginnings of what is Bitcoin to, okay, on this candle structure pattern, we've got a reversal because the momentum is shifting and we're going to, you got to learn, baby. And we're going to see that this opportunity right now, falling channel here, bullish, tends to break out bullish. What happens? Broke out bullish. Falling broadening wedge here tends to break out bullish, but there's some, look how weak this breakout is. So this means this momentum was not very strong. It broke out and just consolidated sideways and down. So this is actually, although this would be considered a broadening wedge, meaning that this side is closer to this is basically broadening, right? This is looking a little weak currently, but with what's happening with the altcoin market and so many things there's so much uncertainty being cast onto the market right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum right now are the safest bets in the market. So I do expect to see some capital flow here into the markets. Now, if we come back over to Bitcoin, I do want to notice something that I forgot to mention here. And that is, let's go to the daily 8 hour. Every day, where was I seeing it? Was it the 8 hour? Okay, yeah. So we're seeing some oscillations in volume here. And as this has come down, if we go like this, see this volume is higher here than all the way till we had to get all the way back here to this initial, short-term parabolic push that we had here. So volume is starting to inch up. There's interest coming in at these levels. So is this an indication? Well, Bitcoin, I do think is going to be safe. This is going to be choppy here. We could get another washout down, but I And this is a gut feeling, so don't bank on this. But my gut feeling is that the market's going to kind of do, kind of chopping around in here, washing people out, and then kind of have another false move, and then likely into the end of the month, break out to the upside. And I'll admit, that's my directional bias. That's what I'd like to see happen. I have a feeling there's so much illiquid supply, meaning there's not enough supply to even meet the current demand that's there. And as the halving starts approaching and we get a clarity on what the interest rate's going to be, and maybe some of the stuff is thrown out from the SEC, can you imagine that? That would be a moonshot. But we also have the possibility coming here and then losing this level and then losing this level and coming down here in the 24,000 region. And that's not it. Coming down, here, testing all the way down here into the $21,000 region. That's a possibility. But we're looking at this on a daily basis because everything is hinging on every bit of news that comes out at every moment because nobody has certainty on what's going on in the market. So we need to protect ourselves. Now, zooming out of this, okay, Ethereum, we talked about that. Let's look at, what did we say? Did you guys send me a list, mods? Do not know. I did see, let's look at Matic. Go off here. Matic. All right, so Matic is in a precarious situation. Go ahead and delete these fibs. These are from a long time ago. So Option T, if you're on PC, Alt T gives you, if you just press Option T or Alt T on PC, Option on Mac, and then click on the chart, see Option T, then you click, you have a line. Just reminding you all, in case there's some newbies here, we have this downtrend resistance that has been all the way back since February. Now, we can also call out a bit of a box right in this zone right here. Why this zone? We have, look, this pushed up into it, rejected, this kind of bounced off of it, this fell all the way through it. This bounced off this box, this bounced off this box, this went to the bottom side of this box. This is how I'm determining where these boxes are. Where can I get the most points on the top and bottom of this box? And we're seeing this, and this came down right into the middle of this box. So what we're gonna do now is Option F. If you're on PC, it's Alt F. You get your Fibonacci. Golden pocket is right in this zone here. So let's go ahead and put a golden zone right here. We're gonna make this a little bit brighter. Rectangle, oh, nope, not the border. There we go. Golden box. Now, we have these other levels, and we can make these a little bit, they're just too bright on the screen. There's just too much going on. All right. So on this entire region, we have the point of control right above us, right here. Matic, Polygon, I would argue is among one of the stronger assets in the entire digital ecosystem. Up there, obviously it can't be as high as Ethereum because it's built on top of Ethereum. But what we're seeing is downtrend, right? But we have this flat bottom support here. Let's make this, I'm gonna make this blue, actually, blue base. We're gonna make it a little bit brighter. There we go. So we have this blue base. Now, I'm not gonna call this a head and shoulders because it's not. But what we are seeing is somewhat bearish in that we have a high, we have a higher high, and we have a little bit of a push here. This shoulder doesn't come all the way down though. But despite that, this is down at this base. If the market does reverse, this will make for an incredible play to the upside. Now, separate from this, I want you to point out, although this is potentially somewhat bearish, we also have to look. Let's go from this top. Let's go like this. Look at this. We have a falling wedge. So we have a somewhat bearish structure that is now actually this current structure we're in here. This larger structure looks somewhat bearish, but the bearishness didn't fully catalyze. We didn't get this. If we got a bounce here, that would be a bounce here, come down and lose it. That would be a head and shoulders. but we don't have this coming all the way down. We're having a similar structure though with the bullish impulse, stronger bullish impulse, and weaker bullish impulses collectively, but we're not getting an actual push. These are like, this is less, the reason why I'm pointing this out is some people want to look at this and say head and shoulders, but what this looks more like is down, sideways, down, sideways, down, sideways, down. This doesn't look like a down and a relief attempt. There's no real relief attempt, and that's important to understand when you're trying to determine whether you're looking at head and shoulders or something else. So in this case, I'll ignore the head and shoulders sort of, let's call it an allegation, like Gary Gensler, right? I'll look at this falling wedge into this critical level of support on this trend line right here, which was a high here. Look, we could probably even extend this out. Let's see. Not quite, but you get the point. Resistance, support, support. Now support right at a level of horizontal support. So this is a stronger level of support. And what I want you to notice is, look at this. Came down. As we came down, we're getting a lot of volume. And then the volume also was increasing right at the zone. So let's go ahead and look at our traditional asset indicators. Let's look on the 3-day chart. Now we have our money flow on the bottom, checking money flow. We have our stochastics, which are reset down here at the bottom. We have the RSI. Let's go ahead, zoom in on the RSI. Sorry about that. Here we go. Now we're going to create a trend line here on our RSI. It's going to be, we want to get the points where 3 points touch. So if we have an outlier, that's fine. We have 3 points touching there. Now we have a trend line. Now we have MACD. We're looking at the 3-day. We want this. This is attempting to come up. It's just not quite there. Stochastics completely oversold. RSI on the lower side of the range. It is down here at the 33 level. Look at this. This is just, and this is a bullish formation. Falling wedges tend to break out to the upside. Now, if we look at this, we're seeing a bullish divergence on stochastics. Option T, we could see this right here. What do I mean? This low, if we zoom in on this, see this low? This low is higher than this low right here. This is not confirmed yet. Why do I say that? Let's go ahead and labels. I always forget where this is. Countdown. Where's the countdown thing? Oh, it's right here. I was looking up here. So we have 8 hours and 43 minutes. I'd like to see the 3-day close for the next tick here, because this very well could just fall out the bottom. If this closes, this 3-day candle closes, and we get this sort of, sort of bounce, a small little bounce here confirmed, then we have a bullish divergence setting up on the stochastics. Do we have it on the RSI? Let's go. No on the RSI. No bullish divergence yet on the RSI, so we're waiting there. Bullish divergence on check and money flow, especially on the day of close. It's setting up to be a bullish divergence, meaning there's not as much money coming out. There's, liquidity starting to flow back in. We want to see this sort of situation right here. You see this curving. If we zoom out on this on Matic, this was curving, and then look at where this crossed over. Strong movement that agree with price and strength. So Matic is looking, actually, despite everything, relatively in good shape as long as we hold this level. If we lose this level, I would be wary of just a washout wick, meaning price action just zipping to the downside and coming back in. But you have a couple levels you can watch here. Option J right there. Yeah, so if we break down below this, especially if we lose 70 cents, I think we're going to be going much lower. 70 cents is kind of my line in the sand for Matic. If we bounce here, it doesn't mean we're absolutely going to moonshot yet. We very well could bounce here, come down into this zone, break out, retest, and then continue up. But either way, there's something brewing, it looks like, for Matic. So let's go ahead and go to another chart. There's some other things you guys said. I don't remember. Let me go ahead and look at y'all's chat. Yeah, we can look at Cardano for sure. Look at Cardano BTC. Where's that at? Look at this, performing very poorly. Let's go ahead and mute this darn email ribbon. Performing very poorly to Bitcoin, right? Why hold any asset in your portfolio if it's not at least as strong as Bitcoin? If Bitcoin is the safest, why hold anything if it's not at least as strong as Bitcoin? It doesn't mean don't invest in other assets, doesn't mean don't trade other assets, but when you're looking for positions, if right now Cardano is not looking as strong as Bitcoin, is that the case? Well, we need to look at more data. So let's, we've got a zone here because it may be setting up for reversal. You know, who knows? This is an ugly chart. You know what? Let's actually go to the Bitcoin pair, or the US dollar pair. I mean, here we go. Where's my, there we go. So much stuff on this chart. I'm going to, so, okay. Zoom out. So what we're seeing here, we are pushing up these levels. We broke right through all these levels. If I were to look at this and guess without knowing what asset it was, just looking at this, this feels like we may get a small relief. I don't know if it would go as high as 34, but some sort of relief or consolidation. And I think it's very likely that we'll be testing down into this range right here. But we need, this is just looking at price action. Now, if we zoom out on this and actually look at the indicators, let's go to the 3-day. Yeah, I mean, stochastics are very, you know, undervalued, showing price. It's all the way down here. RSI tried to push up to the 50 line, got rejected right here. Got rejected at the 50 line. When you're above the 50 line on the daily, or especially on the 3-day, it means you have a strong bullish trend. This lost the 50 line. If we do that, we can do right here, option H. It's right about where the 50 line is. We did have a strong bullish impulse right here. You see this. But then as soon as the price pulled back, we lost the 50 line, tried to, if we zoom in on this, we tried to regain it, got rejected, basically confirming a bearish bias on this time frame. So we have this confirmed bearish bias, and then immediately after right here, we nuke all the way down. If I were to really be a betting man based on price action, and then also looking at the strength, this looks like we may get some sort of fake out relief here, but I do think that this is going to be testing down here. Now, the question is going to be, are we going to get something like this? Look at this, boom, boom. Are we going to get at this level a bounce up like this and really scare the bejeezers out of everybody? Yes, I just said the word bejeezers. I can't believe I said it either. But we see like this, if we were to measure this head and shoulders, this would be a target all the way down to 21 cents. Probably even lower. Let's see. Look at this. Now look at this. If this were to play out, boom, 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 this projected target to the downside is also, look at this. You would be retesting this downtrend, previous resistance, now current support. It's crazy how all these things line up. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we need to watch on any relief here. Just because it's coming up does not mean we're going to moonshot. Very well could roll over, depending on the context of what happens with, man, I just got a tear in my eye from my man, Matt C. Lost his dog a few weeks ago, his heart and soul. So big shout out to everybody. Put a heart in chat right now. Hit that emojis. Throw those emojis in for Matt C's lost doggy, and also for all, pour one out for all our lost doggies. They're our best friends, right? They're such a big part of our life, dogs and family members. But shout out to Matt C. Appreciate you being here, buddy. And I know you're hard losing. Yeah, big love. So coming back here on the charts, if this were to play out, the reason why we map something out like this is that way, as this is coming up, we can still have a bearish sort of lens of potential. So we're not just going all in and then adding to our position here as well when the price may reverse. We need to be aware of that. Now, will this play out? I don't know. It's going to depend on what happens with the SEC, with the Coinbase, with Cardano's allegation of that is, is Cardano going to be pulled from Robinhood? Is Coinbase going to be pulled from Coinbase? You get what I'm saying? There's a lot on the market right now. Now, what we want to look at right now because of this is we want to just be aware of the levels that we're looking at on all these assets. In this case, this looks like we may get a little bit of a relief, but probably follow through to here. We'll revisit at 3073, 3067. This is this previous low. If we bounce here and we even consolidate and move up, wonderful. If we lose this level, we want to watch for if it loses it, comes back, finds rejection. If we find rejection there and you haven't shorted anywhere through here and you've been waiting for a short, that's a great short right here. If this comes up to this zone, most conservatives, if we break this, whatever the level this comes down to, comes back up, whenever we break that level, that is confirmation that, we'll probably be testing down. Now, in this case, we have to watch out for this level right here, this previous low, but we're going to take this level by level as it is, okay? So this is what we got there for Cardano. There's a couple others that I saw you post. We can do DOT. Somebody was asking about DOT. We're not going to do DOT. Let's do ICP. So let's actually go over to this other chart. I have I thought I had ICP here. ICP. Trying to find a specific chart that I already have drawn up. Well, a lot of drawing on this chart, right? So let's go ahead and go to our traditional indicators. Where are they at? There we are. Trying to show you guys different looks with different tools so people can formulate their strategy how they want it and understand, even when you are using indicators, whether it's our indicators, whether it's Market Cipher, whether it's any indicator pack, you need to understand what these core indicators are. Money flow, volume, of course, volume profile, RSI, stochastics. Some people like stochastic RSIs. I like stochastics better. It's just slightly different reading. MACD gives you a really good understanding of what's going on. Now, in this case, we saw, what did we see? Let's double click on the chart, minimize our indicators for now. Let's look at price action first. Always a good place to start with price action and volume. Now we could see previous high, previous low. See how this projected out? Gave us some sort of framework there. Now we can come here, extend this across. Look at that. We're in a bit of a falling wedge on ICP as well. This is not, I will say, this is not classically known. The way the formation of this pattern is not classically known as an falling wedge because it doesn't have, what you'd like to see is this touching this zone here. I mean, I didn't mean to go past it. And then retest here, and then retest here. That's the most accurate way you're really going to see a strong falling wedge play out. And falling wedges tend to break out to the upside. So you want to really be aware of what the deal is here, because if we look at this, we have another falling wedge within this that did play out, and that's right here, but it actually broke to the downside. You see this? Top, bottom, top, bottom. This is a true falling wedge, but this went against the grain. No matter how well you know chart formations and price action, it doesn't mean it's going to be 100% of the time every time. As they say in Anchorman, about 65, 68% of the time, it works every time. What that means is about 65% of the time, these falling wedges break to the upside and rising wedges tend to break to the downside. Remember, I said tend. Now this did fall to the downside. Now remember, this wasn't just chart formation based. There's also news came out and the SEC said it was listing it as a security. So of course, price actually fell out. It's actually surprising it only fell this far. Now, where did it fall to? Look at these levels right in this zone. If we take a box on ICP right here and pull this across, it fell through this gap right here. You see the gap? Where is my arrow? It fell through this, see volume right here, all this volume. Remember, each one of these bars is relevant to how much volume traded at the price you see on the right side here. So when you have a higher, this increase right here, this means more volume was traded at this specific price. And as these bars shrink, this means less and less volume is trading at these prices right through this region here. Why do I say that? These bars are falling. The volume profile, that's what this is. Volume profile is suggesting there's not much volume that's trading in this gap. And what's also in this gap? Price action, as Frankie Candles calls it, price just kind of teleported down quickly. Why? There's no price memory at these levels. You see how you can use these tools? Now, this did fall right into a range where, look, right on a shelf of volume, even if you didn't even look left, you knew that there was a large volume shelf here. Let's go to zoom in like this there. You know there's a large volume shelf here. You know that there's price action before because you can see the volume profile. Now you look left and you see, okay, yeah, there was a lot of volume traded in these ranges and price action is finding support at this level. Now the question is, if it loses this, where's it going? Let's do option J for this level, option J for this level. If we lose this level, I think we're likely going down to the 365, 343 range. Maybe it'll bounce on one of these and then come back up, get rejected, and then break through. Everything's hinging on the context of what happens with this SEC case, with these SEC cases, I should say. So we need to pay attention to all of these things. Now, what was another one? Let's do one more before we go. Tony D, what's up, my man? Good talking with you last night after our, we're not going to mention it on stream, but after our kerfuffle that we had with a whole nother entity, I appreciate you calling me, shooting me that stuff. Everybody, if you're not following Frankie Candles, you got to follow him. I basically really, I kill it on these mornings. Frankie Candles kills it on the afternoons. He does like a 2-hour stream. Frankie Candles and I are both nuts that we do such long streams, but we got to break this stuff down for you all. But I think that's where we're going to leave it for now. I just want to say, everybody, we need to just remember, we have all these cases going on with the SEC, with judges, with decisions on Coinbase and Binance, with, ADA. I honestly do not think it's a security. Coinbase has also been going after so much with Coinbase with the SEC trying to solve all these things and then only to be told there's no rule book and now to say they're breaking the rules. We've got Binance's court date on the same date with the SEC as the Hinman documents being released. And I mentioned this last week. I do think there's something really big coming that's going to be net incredibly positive for the space. And that's why the SEC is moving on all these things right now. I would expect, hopefully, also some sort of U.S. government recognition of the massive amount of incompetence that's happening right now with Gary Gensler and the SEC, and that we get some positive resolution and clarification on what's going on with the XRP case, as well as with the Coinbase and all these other cases right now. So with that being said, I love you all. We're going to end it there. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Make sure you're following us over at youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. Check us out at bitlabacademy.com. Check out all the links to socials down here. If you did not yet, I forgot to mention this, be entered to win. We're giving away some money. I know everybody likes money. We're giving away money tomorrow. Let me pull up the tweet right here. Come over to my page. Remember, 4 p.m. today, I'll be doing the Twitter Spaces. So come set your reminder. Boom, right there. And then on today's Academy BitLab, at Academy BitLab, this is the BitLab Academy Twitter page. Come give us a follow. Hit that retweet button, hit that like button. And from that, we were drawing, from the people that retweet these, we're drawing a name for some free money, baby. So big love to all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful, expeditiously fantastic day. I'll see you later. Adios, muchachos.